My name's Claire Blaylock, and I'm the Executive Director of AFO. And we'll kind of do a little round robin. Candace, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yes, yeah. My name is Candace Agahan, and I also work for AFO, and I'm the Education Program Manager. And I'll pass it to Alice.
So I'm Alice Vivel. I am on the board of AFO.
And I'm Michelle Black. I'm a principal at Carlton Hart Architecture.
So one of the big reasons that we're doing a little info session like this is our first year that we are offering 2 scholarships for our college student community. We have our Hatfield scholarship, which we've offered since 2001 or 2. Honestly, I can't remember. And that scholarship has been, we have a long history of folks who have participated in it and a lot of sort of the pillars of our community. In fact, we even have at least one board member currently who was an AFO Hatfield scholar. And so it does come with a certain level of prestige. But we are also very pleased to be offering the William Hart Scholarship this year as well. And that is being offered in conjunction with Carlton Hart Architecture. And that's Michelle is principal with Carlton Hart, and she'll tell us a little bit more about that. But this is part of hopefully an expanding program for AFO that we're offering more scholarships and offering more opportunities to as many students as we can. So I'm going to let Michelle introduce herself a little bit more, tell you a little bit about Carlton Hart and where they're coming from and the William Hart Scholarship.
Yeah, so Carlton Hart Architecture located our offices in Portland, and we have our one and only office. A staff of about, well, I can say exactly 38 people. And last year, one of our founding partners, William Hart, he retired from the profession. And in honor of him, we decided to create this scholarship. Yeah, in part just to show our love and support for Bill, but also really to branch out and extend the reach of our own diversity, equity, inclusion work. So we're, that is in our office, in the community, and as well wanted to reach into kind of the education system with the hopes of really trying to help change the profession. As much as we love the profession of architecture, like it is not without its flaws, and certainly providing equal opportunity and representation in the profession is something I think more and more people are noticing, and we definitely want to be on the front end of helping make that change. So that's really the impetus behind the scholarship. I don't know if, Claire, do you want me to go into more about our office or just talk?
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about your office and the kind of work that you do at CHA?
Yeah, so we do a lot of community focused work. So we are experts in affordable housing, have been for the 27 years of our existence. That was kind of a cornerstone of the work that Bill and Brian wanted to do when they founded the firm. And so reaching out into communities, not only definitely Portland centric, but all over the state of Oregon and Southern Washington, helping communities with providing affordable housing, different populations, different levels of resources to those communities, as well as other community focused work. So, community center or other civic buildings has also been a piece of what our portfolio has. So that's really the focus of our work. I think, one other thing that is a little different about how we provide services for our clients is because we have such a deep-rooted expertise in a lot of the areas that we do work. We often get involved with projects well before the design process and really help clients vet what makes sense, how to get things funded, how to work with local communities, how to do outreach to the local communities. So I think that's a really rich part of our profession or our professional services that's not often firms get to do. So that's been very rewarding as well.
Fantastic. So I know that Michelle, you and some of the CHA team members are going to be helping to evaluate candidates for the William Hart Scholarship. What, sort of broadly, what do you think makes a successful application? What are you going to be looking for?
You asked me that question ahead of time and I had time to think about it, and it's hard. I mean, for me, just someone with vision. I think, a lot of times we sell ourselves short in trying to speak about what you think the person reading something wants to hear. And that's not what I want. I want to know what you want. I want to know what your vision for your career is. I want to know what excites you. I want to see projects that really you're proud of and hear why you're proud of them. Because I think so much of what makes us good at our jobs is finding that piece of excitement, of joy, of that little kernel of problem solving that really comes together, big or small. And so in whatever way you can express that in your application, whether through the essay or the portfolio, I think that's what really makes a standout application, is like that it's really about you and what you care about, and not just trying to think through what might sound good to others.
When you talk about the portfolio, because this is oftentimes, I think for the scholarship, the first time that students are submitting a portfolio, which is something that we really, I think is great experience, submitting a portfolio of work. What do you look for when you review the portfolio?
Personally, I love to see in process things. And so, I love, everyone's got beautiful renderings or beautiful photography of their models or whatever. Definitely, you should show that. But, I think a lot of people think twice about including those little, sketches that helped you get there, or diagrams that you did, and they're not perfect and they're rough and whatever. But I think that's really powerful, and just seeing your thought process and the problem solving that went into something, and the iteration of a project. So I think that's the one thing that I think a lot of people don't include, and maybe you should. I mean, you need to include whatever tells the story that you're trying to tell. But I do think that's a piece, is like as beautiful as all the final product stuff is, and definitely that's amazing to see. I think it is the process stuff that is really powerful as well.
Yeah, I totally agree, because architecture is process.
Yes.
The process of creating our world.
Mhm.
Alice, I'll put you on the spot for a minute. Would you say the same applies for the Hatfield application?
Yeah, I think largely it does. Perhaps a difference in the Hatfield scholarship is that part of it is about your record or your passion for service, because it's about your design ability and all of that, but service is a really huge component of it. So I think that's really what we're interested in, people with a passion for service as well.
Yeah.
And I will say that, we are trying to make this as painless as possible if there's anyone that wants to apply for both applications. So don't think that the service component or community component does not apply to the portfolio for the William Hart Scholarship. Like they can have the same portfolio. I don't see that needs to be unique to each of those.
Yeah. The difference, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it's sort of how you apply for both is submitting an additional short essay for the William Hart Scholarship as well. So we've tried to kind of make it so nobody has to duplicate efforts or, submit the same work multiple times.
Right.
So yeah. Alice, kicking it back over to you again. What is the thing that really kind of jumps out at you when you are reviewing Hatfield applications? You've mentioned service, but is there anything else that kind of makes an application stand out above the rest?
I think that's a really good question. I think, like Michelle, I think in a very much in the same way that you've described, Michelle, is that we're looking for a total person. We're trying to understand who you are, how you see the world, how you see your place in the world and your work for the world. So I think it's pretty broad. And I think historically it's been more focused around design excellence. I think as time has gone on, we're realizing that there's all kinds of ways of thinking about that. And that we don't really want to be as narrow as, to be honest, what we've been in the past. So AFO's focus is really on broadening the profession of architecture and design, and the people that it brings to the profession and brings to design consciousness. So I think this is really, in a way, a pivot for us to think about who we want more broadly. So I think the most successful application is going to be one in many ways that's the most personalized, I would say, that really reflects who you are and, what you care about.
Yeah. Yeah. We're not just looking for, numbers on a spreadsheet.
You don't have to be the A student.
Exactly.
Let me just put that out there. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be the A student. You have to have the A brain,
Exactly.
You got the vision part.
Yeah. Any other thoughts that you, Michelle and Alice, might sort of throw out to potential applicants?
I would tell you, don't kill yourself on the application.
Mm-hmm.
Do a decent job, but don't go crazy. It doesn't, that's not important. We don't want to exhaust you as part of this process.
That's good advice.
If you have any questions while you're putting it together, I think, Candace and Claire and Michelle and I, anybody, just reach out and we'll do whatever we can to answer them. Especially you, Candace, right? Because you're really pulling it all together. So Candace has been through this many a time. So she may be honestly your best source, but yeah, whatever you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say is if you're at all interested, apply. Don't second guess it. Don't take yourself out of the running. Like, put your name in there and go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. Alice is absolutely correct. Please feel free to reach out to us with questions. My email and Candace's email can definitely be found on the website, but mine is just claire@af-oregon.org. And Candace is candace@af-oregon.org. And Candace is putting them in the chat as well. The last piece I want to circle back to is Michelle. I know for the William Hart Scholarship, there is a component of getting to spend some time and working with the folks at CHA. And if that was something you wanted to kind of hype up and talk a little bit about as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you win the scholarship, you're not beholden to come and spend time with us, but we do want this to be an opportunity for those who are interested to come and, hopefully we'll be not at home, but in the office before too long. But we do want to offer, people to come to the office, to meet our staff, to have time to have talks about mentorship and kind of career path. And like, we see this as beyond, the dollars, which, don't get me wrong, the dollars are very important as well. But we want to provide support that is both financial and also in a mentorship capacity to whoever wins the scholarship. Again, that is not a requirement, but that is something that we feel strongly about and want to make that happen as much as the recipient is open to it.
Fantastic. Great.
So Claire, I just noticed, and Candace, just I think a typo on the Hatfield requirements for the recommendation letter. One letter may be from an architectural faculty member, but it is not required. We used to require it from a faculty member, but we realized that it really isn't necessary. So that's a change we're going to make on the website, and you'll see that.
Yes, thank you for catching that. Alice is absolutely correct. we've realized what we're really looking for with the letters of recommendation is, again, it's back to the whole person. Like, we want to know who you are as a student, but also as somebody who engages with architecture and who you want to be in the future. And sometimes professors aren't always the best person to answer that. So that can be, the recommendation letter can come from whoever you think is going to help you really tell that story. That would be my thoughts on it.
Hi, I have some questions.
Please, I was just about to ask for questions. So wonderful.
So I know for sure that I'm eligible, well, I believe I'm eligible for the Hatfield scholarship. I am not I'm a Black woman, but I'm not a graduating student in architecture. So I know that I wouldn't be able to do the William Hart scholarship. But you all, just to reiterate, you all do accept like first year architecture students for the Hatfield scholarship?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Just wanted to clarify on that. And then the second question I had is, so I do not have to get a recommendation letter necessarily from a faculty from like my school, but I can get one from like a community leader.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally great.
You need 2 recommendation letters.
Got it. Perfect.
So one of them doesn't have to be a faculty member. It used to be required. It's no longer required. It doesn't hurt to have a faculty member, you know, but we're just saying it's no longer required, but you still need 2 letters.
Okay. Okay. And those can be are they from any relation or just specifically something else?
Well, one definitely has to be from a community member, and typically it's someone who can speak to your service, you know, whatever you've done. And I would say probably not your mom, but
No, for sure.
you know, short of that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Raven, even if you aren't eligible necessarily for the William Hart Scholarship this year, you know, we are committed to this scholarship for at least the next 5 years. So, you know, it's definitely something you can apply for in the future as well. Just FYI.
Yes.
Candace, maybe just if you could just talk about the process of actually applying at submission.
Good call.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sorry, I've been on mute. I know Claire and I are sitting pretty close to each other, so there's a lot of feedback. But yes, so you do need to make an account on Submittable, which is the platform that you submit your application through. And it's a free account. So you just, when you go to, actually, I can put the page into the chat. When you go to the application, you need to start by making a Submittable account, and then you'll be able to access everything there. And what's nice about it is that you can save a draft of your work. So if you want to type things directly into there and kind of like come back to it and work on it later, revisit it, you have the opportunity to do that. But it should be pretty straightforward. But of course, reach out to us if you have any questions about it. And our contact info is on the Submittable page as well.
Okay, well, I think that just about wraps it up. Any other questions, please feel free to reach out to any of us on this call. Or info, like I said, it's on the website. You can find us pretty easily, and we look forward to seeing your applications. So thank you so much.